This is how you start a homestead with next to nothing. Almost 10 months ago, I found a piece of land on landwatch.com. I like landwatch.com because there's several search options. If you're looking for different zoning, you can find it. If you're looking for a place that it's legal to camp, you can find it. You're looking for a place that has a well already, you can narrow it down that way. So landwatch.com was a really good resource for me to find my piece of land. Just wanted to take a second to give a shout out to No Luck Chuck for sponsoring Snoop Hogg. This is Snoop Hogg right here and his girlfriend Bonnie. I guess I've had them for 3 or 4 months maybe, and I don't know if I can get a good view, but it looks like his girlfriend might be pregnant already. I don't know if that's possible. I should probably do some research, but man, her belly is popping out. Hey Magdalene, if you want to sponsor one of the farm animals like Chuck did, No Luck Chuck, you can sign up for the membership, join the membership. There's 3 different tiers. The top tier, you can sponsor an animal. The second tier, you get behind the scenes footage, and for only 99 cents a month, you can interact on the lives. When I came out here, it was just a piece of land, and I knew I needed to quickly come up with food, water, and shelter. The very first thing I did was started to build this shed. Look up the county rules and regulations where you are. They've got a PDF thing. You can download it, find out what you can build with or without permits, and go from there. So the shed is shelter. It helps me get out of the wind and the rain and whatnot when I'm working on things, or when I'm working. But I live in my van, and so it was important to me that I could permanently camp here. And not that I will permanently camp here, but it's allowed. Most of my food still comes from a grocery store, and I imagine I'll always get some stuff there. But I started out with getting some chickens. They lay me about 6 or 7 eggs a day so far. These were spring chickens last season, so they'll be a year old in about 4 months or so. I also picked up pigs, rabbits, and goats. So right here, these are my 4 rabbits. That's Peter. And on this side, I'll be framing in a 10 by 10 and closing that in for the rabbits. Over here, I've got Bonnie and Snoop Hogg. Okay, and then I've got Magdalene and Malleus. And each of these are unrelated, male and female. That way they can have kids or babies, and down the road I can raise those babies for meat or sell them for extra income, and the same for the rabbits. As far as water is concerned, most of my water comes from that roof. I've got a tank on this side that it runs down into, and a tank on that side that it runs down to and collects. It simply filters through basically a t-shirt folded over the edge, and that keeps out any major debris, and then I run it through the Berkey filter that I made. So this is the water tank on the back side of the shed, and I've created a Berkey filter. So when I'm ready for some more water, I'll grab the gallon that I'm going to fill up. I'll fill it up a couple times and run it through the system, and then I'll usually let it sit. I'll go do chores or whatever, and I'll come back and then fill up my gallon down there, and then I can go through the day, and any water I need that needs to be filtered, I can grab right there. Last season I grew my garden in what's the goat pen now, but I've almost completed my geothermal greenhouse. So this season, most of what I grow will go in here. I've got a water container on the back. You see I'm currently just moving water from one tank to that tank. Eventually I might be able to set up some rain gutters down the side of the hoop house that could run into it. Well, of course I can. And then additionally I could build another surface for rain harvesting that runs right into that tank. This entire geothermal will be ran on a timer that goes into a drip system. So right now I'll be starting 32 different plants, and I'll also be starting a grapevine up the back wall there. The very back will be insulated, and the last 4 feet will be insulated as well. For the food that I'll be growing, I need to build compost. So I've got a compost bin going now, and I think I'm going to build 2 more of them, so I have a system to rotate them through and continually have really good soil ready to go. In addition to that, the chickens give me a lot of manure, and so do the goats and rabbits. and they each have different NPK values. So you see that rabbit manure under there, that's rich in nitrogen, lower in phosphorus and potassium, and the chicken manure is lower in nitrogen, higher in phosphorus and potassium. Back here I have a compost bin, and then below that it drips down, so the tea from the compost goes down, and that combines with the latest fertilizer I've made. This is basically rabbit poo manure, you know, mixed in with some water, and that's my fertilizer. While it's safe to put the rabbit manure in your garden and whatnot, when you make this fertilizer, you probably want to dilute it because it's actually upwards of 7,000 parts per million. So if you get a parts per million tester, you can water it down until you get into the right range. You know, beginning plants need about 300 parts per million, and you know, flowering or adult plants, they need closer to 1,000 parts per million. If you get a parts per million tester, you may as well get a pH tester as well. That way you know that for sure your fertilizer is going in at the right pH and the right parts per million. Well, hopefully you found the video a little bit helpful. I just kind of went over the basics to starting my homestead, and you know, I came out here with almost nothing, guys. I had a trailer and I had 2 water tanks and the van. I drove the van out here. That's it. And everything else, a lot of the stuff, I just met people and found people that had scrap material. I found people that wanted to barter some things, and I traded for a lot of this stuff. If you'll notice, you know, I mean, that chicken coop, there ain't much to it, just some studs, some cattle wire and whatnot. Matter of fact, I made a coop for a while out of those pallets. I'm going to tear that down now that I moved the pigs over to the goat pen, and I'll probably build another coop in there, a larger coop for the chickens or something to that extent. If you did like the video, give me a thumbs up. That'll be a good indication that I should make more content like this. If you want to see more content in the future like this, please subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.